I'm not content with the content. I want more. I'm not content with the content. I want more.
Welcome to Hooligan Radio, the podcast that covers gaming, movies, true crime, cryptids, conspiracies, and all other things. My name is Josh. You can find me usually on YouTube talking about movies, but I'll be talking about movies here today. We also have Isaiah.
Yo, tally ho, lassies, I'm shipping up to Boston. When you guys hear this, St. Paddy's Day will be over, and I'll be in my grave.
And we also have Zach here today, the birthday boy.
Yo, the best birthday in the world, St. Patrick's Day. Always fun.
He turned 25. You're old, my dude.
So, Zach, what has it been like? You're Irish, right?
Yes, very much so.
What has it been like being Irish and having your birthday on St. Patrick's Day every year?
A shit show year after year after year is a good way to explain it.
From the age of 4.
As early as I can remember.
All right. Well, Isaiah, let's get jumping into some news here in this special St. Patrick's Day. By the time this is uploaded, will have been a few days ago. But on this special St. Patrick's Day episode, what kind of news do you have for us?
So we got the news that our faithful Switch Fortnite players are not of the caliber of Xbox One and PlayStation 4 users. Fortnite has deemed that it is an unfair advantage for the people who are on PlayStation and Xbox One to be going up against Switch players because they had recently changed their queues to be where you could match with anybody on console. So instead of it being like you would have to have somebody from the PlayStation side on your party to get both sides, I think that everybody is just lumped into the same queue. So you could be playing with Xbox users or PlayStation users. It didn't really matter. And they had Switch in there for a moment, and then they realized that. I think the problem is that Switch probably doesn't get the 60 frames per second or whatever it is and all that kind of good stuff that the Xbox and the PlayStation get. So it seems that Switch users are going to be lumped into the mobile users category. So you'll be playing against people like Apple and Android users, which seems like a pretty hardcore advantage. But I guess these companies have made it so that you can sync Bluetooth controllers to your phone and play Fortnite on your phone. So maybe it won't be that bad. Have you guys played Fortnite on your Switches?
No, but I did play it on my phone once.
Oh my
Was
God.
it really bad?
That experience.
It was so bad. It's just terrible. I don't know how anybody could play it. My question is, I guess, Zach, you can answer. Have you played it on your Switch?
I have not. PC.
Okay. Yeah, so my question is, why don't they just make a setting? Like, if you don't feel confident playing with other people on other things because you think there's an advantage, can't there just be a setting like, oh, only match me with people on my platform or open me up to everybody? I don't get why they have to, take away the option.
So I think what the problem is if you let people have those options, you have multiple queues of people. So what they're trying to do is make it so that there's all of the player bases in one queue so that games match make quicker. So if you have, say you have 5 queues with 1 million people each, the queue time is going to be longer than if you had one queue with 5 million people in it. You know what I mean?
That's fair, but aren't they already now going to have separating a separate queue for themselves with the Switch users?
It's only 2 separate queues then, so it's like taking it in half.
But if you give it each individual, so let's say if you gave that setting to Switch players, eventually people will be like, well, why don't you just give that to PlayStation or Xbox users so they could do that too? And then you have 7 different queues that people could go into technically.
So that makes me think, how many people do we think really play Fortnite on mobile platforms?
A lot.
Really?
A couple 100,000?
At least. I mean, you got to think that, there's a lot of kids with mobile devices, iPads and all that kind of stuff that play Fortnite.
Yeah, I forgot about iPads too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. iPads count as mobile devices, and then,
It might be a bit
Phone
easier on an
stuff.
iPad than on my phone.
Right.
Yeah,
And
much easier.
I would say that is probably on par with the Switch user base also. I feel like there's not a lot of hardcore gamers, right, playing Fortnite on the Switch.
I was gonna say that. Do you think then, let's say me, someone who isn't the best at Fortnite, wanted to get back into it, which I won't, but let's say I did. Do you think this could create kind of an easier, like, oh, I'll play on Switch because it's mostly kids and I don't have to deal with PC gamers and like really hardcore people? Do you think that'll create like another market for people that just have it on Switch?
I think so, but I think that the PC gamers are not going to get lumped into the Xbox and PlayStation. I think that there's going to be a keyboard and mouse like queue, because you can use keyboard and mouse on Xbox now. And then there's going to be what's it called? Like controller queue, you know what I mean? But there'll be two different controller queues. There'll be mobile controller queue, and then there'll be console controller queue. You know what I mean?
Sounds like there's already a bunch of queues.
Right. But there could be a bunch more, and there already were a bunch more.
Yeah, all right, I get that. Well, I'm never playing Fortnite again. My girlfriend tried to give it to me last night, and I said no. I actually had to delete Fortnite to download Apex, so.
Much better.
Nice. I'm about to play some Apex after this till people come over. But in other news, I don't know if either of you guys are Spotify users, but if you have a Spotify subscription, you get Hulu with the ads for free. I think that was a promotional thing before. It was like if you're a new subscriber to Spotify, you got Hulu for free. And now the whole thing is if you have Spotify Premium, you get Hulu with ads for free. So I now currently have my own Hulu account because I have Spotify Premium. So that means I get to watch all the weird animes and nobody's going to judge me because I'm not sharing it with anybody. So I'm not giving anybody my Spotify log.
That's always the worst, trying to hide what you watched on friends' accounts. Like, they're going to judge me for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how much is Spotify Premium? Do you know?
$10 a month.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
66 or something.
Alexa just tried to answer me. So what was I gonna say? Alexa, you threw me off. I gotta unplug her. Okay, all I was gonna say is I believe
it's just gonna kill her like that.
Yeah, I believe Hulu with ads is like I think $8. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Instead of paying almost $20, you're just paying half the price. And I don't think that the ads aren't that bad. The only thing is like there isn't really a variety of ads when you're binging. There isn't like a variety of ads. You know what I mean? So I was watching The Orville, the thing that's made by the guy who made Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
And they kept showing the same M&M ads, like every ad break and then another ad. But so the variety of ads can be annoying. Like there isn't a lot, so you get to see the same ad like 50 times if you're binging. But I don't think that the ad version is that bad. A lot of people who have had the not ad version will think so, but for free with my Spotify account, like, can I really complain?
Were those M&M ads for the M&M candy bar?
Yes.
The one where she threatens to eat them all instead of breaking them in half.
So
they're everywhere.
So I'm driving yesterday. I've been seeing a lot of these ads for the M&M candy bar. I wanted to try it. So there's a plaza by me where there's a drug mart, and I see a shopping cart out in the parking lot, and there's a little advertisement on the shopping cart for the M&M candy bars, and it says available in the candy aisle. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I go in, right? I go into the candy aisle, and there's multiple big banners like hung up in the candy aisle that are like advertising the M&M candy bar. I'm thinking, wow, this must be like a big deal. So I'm looking around and I can't find the candy bar anywhere. So I'm like, maybe they're out. Maybe there's like a display up front or something. So I get a worker and they have no idea what I'm talking about. So I show him the advertisement and he goes, oh, I guess we don't have these yet, and started ripping down all of the banners.
Jesus. That's awesome.
He's like, they just come in and set these up. We haven't even ordered this, and just rips them all down. I'm like, well, that was inconvenient. So I still have not been able to try the candy bar.
I'm just hoping that, so from what I've been told and what I understand is the lowest quality chocolate in the world is the chocolate that is inside M&Ms. That's what I have been told. That's what I've heard. So I'm hoping that they didn't take the chocolate from inside the M&Ms and just use it to meld a bunch of M&Ms together, because then it's probably going to be really gross.
Yeah,
My
I
goal
can
is
see
to
that
now
being
find these this weekend.
yeah, I can see that being fair because I can't remember the last time I ate a regular M&M. Like that never seems appetizing to me. I always eat like peanut or peanut butter or pretzel. I never go for the regular M&M. So I can understand why people would say it's not that good. But let's all try to have one this upcoming week, and we can
We'll
we can have
review
a
it on the next
full
episode.
review.
Exactly.
Spoilers
We'll
and
undereat it.
all. We will have a spoiler episode on the M&M candy bar.
All right. Did you have any other news for us,
I
Isaiah?
don't think so. What about you, Zach? What kind of news do you got for us?
So I got some exciting news in the world of UFOs. Former Blink-182 guitarist Tom DeLonge is going to what was it?
I think it's DeLonge.
DeLonge? Well, regardless, he is going to host a new UFO show on the History Channel, and his goal is to pretty much show the existence of UFOs. It's going to be a 6-part series where he's going to interview multiple government officials, and I guess one of his main interviewees he's going to interview is a guy named Louis Elizondo, who formerly worked for the Pentagon in a UFO program. So that's going to be like his main guest. And the show is going to be called Unidentified Inside America's UFO Investigation.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you bring that up because Travis Barker, the drummer of Blink-182, was on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about how Tom left Blink-182, probably one of the biggest bands, at least in the top 20 of the biggest bands in the world, to basically hunt UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
But he has also been in contact with the United States government multiple times. So, like, he's actually kind of legit. So it'll be interesting that he's having a TV show. But it's also a sad day because, like, what about Blink-182?
I suppose he's a front man for the band Angels and Airwaves, which I've never heard of.
Yeah, I thought that's why he left Blink-182 was to make that band.
So he originally was in Blink-182, and then he had a side project called Angels and Airwaves. And I bet you if I played some of their top songs, you guys would be like, oh, this melody probably seems familiar. You know who used to love Angels and Airwaves, Josh?
Joey?
Yeah. Joey used to be about that.
That's why I remembered him. Yeah, I heard like a couple songs from him.
Yeah.
And actually, here it says he's also the CEO of a company called To the Stars Academy, which helps to aid and help researchers in exploring exotic scientists and technologies.
Yeah, so, and then he rejoins back after Angels and Airwaves with Blink-182. They released that new Blink-182 album that came out recently, the one that I think it's called California. And then he left Blink-182 again to become a UFO chaser.
Damn.
God, what a man.
Well, I mean, I guess if you love something, you get
Right. If you
gotta chase it, I guess.
Sometimes you gotta chase it, dude.
At first, I thought it was just one of those like clickbaits, like this can't be real. And then I was reading into it, I was like, wow, this is going to actually be a real show.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
I'm excited for it. We'll actually see what the government has been hiding from us, what they already know. Supposedly.
Hopefully.
Yeah, supposedly. We're not gonna find out shit, bro.
But see, when we're talking with UFOs, you always gotta put supposedly or allegedly around it.
But it's probably gonna be the fact that the Skrull invasion is actually real.
Yeah.
And that Stanley was actually a Skrull.
Tom DeLonge is a Skrull?
I could see that one.
He might be, dude.
What if there's just one Skrull going in between bands, being different people of them?
That would be crazy, and it would probably be Tom.
Yeah.
Did you have any other news for us, Zach?
The only other bit of news I had was that in Japan, over the weekend, there was a ferry that supposedly hit a huge, large, unidentified sea creature, and it actually injured about 80 people on the ferry. And there was a huge, gaping, like, indent slat and a little bit of like a cut into the hull of the ferry due to whatever they hit. The best thing about this, well, more than likely what I'm thinking is it's going to be a giant squid, because Japan over the last couple of years have been finding more and more giant squids within their seas. But the first thing I saw was a comment saying Godzilla is real, and that just made me so happy.
It was actually all just promotion for the upcoming Godzilla versus the King of the Monsters movie.
But they bring it to real life, injuring their fans.
I think it's pretty crazy. I think the giant squid is like the perfect example of like 20 years ago. It was just one of these creatures that are just like, the Loch Ness Monster or anything else, but now it's like a real thing that exists and everyone accepts. I think that's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it used to be considered a cryptid. Now it's accepted by science that it's a real creature.
Okay, now that we've got it all out of the way, can we ask Josh what kind of fucking news he has for us? Because I'm about to pop off at one of the things he wants to talk about.
Let's do it.
Well, which one do you want to talk about first, Isaiah?
How about this? You can go ahead and talk about James Gunn, and then we can talk about the other thing, and I'll just wait.
Okay, sure. So let's talk about James Gunn first. So this just broke recently from when we were recording this, and I was baffled. There's a movie talk show that goes live every day that I watch at like 2:00, and the title was James Gunn back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I'm thinking, okay, well, there's no way that's true. I mean, what are they talking about? And the news broke while they were recording the show, so they changed the title of the show, and I was baffled. So Disney has reversed course. They have rehired James Gunn to come back and direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Before I talk about it, what are your guys' first impressions of this?
I mean, I love the move that they're bringing him back for. I honestly think he made the Guardians of the Galaxy series what they are. Like, you can easily tell he put his personality and like just who he is into all of the movies. And I know the scandal and stuff that was going on with him before it was pretty much a move that Disney had to make to save face. But at the end, he accepted what he did and all that stuff. And he's just going to come back and just rock the socks off Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, so I had a question. Isn't he also the director of Suicide Squad 2? Or is that not true?
Yeah. So that's one of the kind of wrinkles in this that I'll get to. But yes, he is directing what is right now being called the Suicide Squad. So I'll just get into there's a lot to this. It's more than just him being rehired, and yeah, that's all great, and I'm glad he's back, because I think Disney realized what everyone else was kind of saying, is that you wouldn't really be able to make a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 without him, and avoid every question that every actor would get in the movie it would be about James Gunn anyway. So I think they realized they were going to have trouble with it. Also, you had stars like Batista coming out and saying they won't do the movie if James Gunn isn't directing it. So yeah, I think it's the right decision. However, there's a lot to it, because first of all, yes, James Gunn accepted to direct the Suicide Squad, which is scheduled to come out next year, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is scheduled to come out in 2021. So from what they're saying, they're going to let James Gunn finish making the Suicide Squad, and then he will start directing Guardians 3. Since he already wrote the script for Guardians 3, it's not like he has to start from scratch, so that it's a little bit of a help for them. But yeah, we're basically going to have 2 James Gunn movies, one for DC and one for Marvel, coming out in back-to-back years. So that right there is crazy. What do you guys think about that?
Is he writing Suicide Squad 2? Or did he
I believe so.
Okay, so he's writing both movies? Writing and directing both movies?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he has co-writers and everything, but yes, he did absolutely already write Guardians 3, and I believe he was brought on originally just to write Suicide Squad 2, but now he's directing it as well.
I mean, this at least makes me want to see Suicide Squad 2, just because I know it's by James Gunn.
Yeah, so that's not normally the case, right? The director doesn't normally write the movie. Or
no, I think usually when you see that, it's when it's like a really big name, right? Like Steven Spielberg, or like someone will, if they have an idea for a movie they want to do, they'll write it then direct it. But usually with like a superhero movie, you don't see that a lot. But I wouldn't say it's super rare, but it does happen.
Okay. Yeah, I have really no standpoint on James Gunn due to the fact I haven't seen his other Guardian Galaxy movies. So,
Still a shame.
but I saw that the second one is on Netflix, and I just said that everybody told me it's kind of not worth it. So, I guess I one day will find out how to watch the first one, since everybody thinks that I'll fucking think it's the best movie ever.
I'll let you borrow it. But
Alright.
but let's put on our tinfoil hats for a minute, because this is where it gets crazy.
Oh
So-
shit! I love that phrase. This is where it gets crazy.
So, well, to me anyway, I think this is crazy. You might think it's boring as hell. But anyway, so 9 months ago when he originally got fired, a lot of people were reporting that one of the reasons Disney did it so swiftly without, talking to James Gunn or like looking into it was because they were right in the middle of the Disney-Fox merger. And Disney didn't want any type of controversy or any type of issues going on while that was, being dealt with. So that's one of the reasons they just quickly were like, okay, we can't deal with this, you're fired. So what just finished up earlier this week? The Disney-Fox merger.
Yeah, literally, I was gonna say it was probably 1 to 2 days before.
Yeah.
That he's coming back.
I mean, they still have some particulars to work out with the deal, but as far as being approved, it's been approved by all of the world governments. As far as like they have said, it's not considered a monopoly, so it is going to go through. And then this news breaks that he's coming back, so that's already crazy enough. But then there are now reports coming out that Disney made this decision with James Gunn months ago and just didn't announce it until now. So people are starting to think that James Gunn was never, this is where it's really a stretch, but there's a possibility that James Gunn was never really actually fired, and Disney said we have to quote unquote fire you because of how it looks. James Gunn's agent then went to DC and got him a job directing a DC movie, and then once the Disney-Fox merger ended, Disney announced that he's back, although they never technically fired him. So in the end, all of this actually earned James Gunn another blockbuster movie to do.
And Disney keeps their star director.
I love the theory. I think it's so. It's like, yeah, I could picture Disney being like, all right, James, we have to distance you. We have to distance ourselves from you because we're about to do this shit, and we want everyone to think that we're good people and not trying to own the world. But it brings up such a good point. You brought it up. You said that like the world government said that it's not a monopoly or whatever. You have to be like, who's the studio? Is it Warner Brothers that makes the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, Warner Brothers. Yeah.
You have to be Warner Brothers just looking at this fucking mammoth that is Disney now and being like, you're telling me that isn't a monopoly. We are the competition to that. And
Yeah.
we're like,
I mean, I think on that front, I think we may have discussed it a little bit on this podcast before, but yeah, like in 2017, for example, Disney had roughly 25% of the U.S. box office, and Fox had roughly 25%, and then the other big studios, Warner Brothers, Sony, Universal, they all made up the other 50%, but now Disney is basically going to have 50% of the market, which honestly, if you had asked me before this deal, I would have guessed Disney had 50% of the market, just,
It's true.
But, the rest of the studios just need to make better movies, but, I mean,
They also
it's
need
a
to
little
have
bit.
$1 billion budget per movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. But anyway, we'll talk about that when the deal officially goes through. We can talk about that more in depth. But focusing on James Gunn, I think that whole conspiracy is a bit of a stretch, but I definitely think the Disney-Fox merger was a big part of firing him and then bringing him back once it's finished. So I find that very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I don't really believe that he was never really fired is because like you had the whole thing with like Batista coming out. I mean, maybe they could have just not told anybody, but like the cast went so far as to like, support him, and Batista said he wouldn't do it and was like, you know what I mean? So it makes me think that like they really would have had to keep it under wraps from everybody except James Gunn, if that
Isn't
was
Batista supposedly going to be in a DC movie?
Yes, I can't remember which one, but he's also been cast, I think, in a movie, but I can't remember off
I
the
thought
top
that
of my
there was rumors that he was going to be in Suicide Squad.
Could be.
There may have been, or maybe he may have just been asked about it and been like, yeah, I would love to do that, but I'm not sure. But while we still have the time here, let's jump into, I think, what Isaiah wanted to pop off about, and that's the second Avengers Endgame trailer.
Oh my fucking god, it was so good. It was so good. It's so good.
So beautiful.
Dude, the suits, man. Oh man.
The new white suits?
Yeah. My life has changed. All right, let's talk about it from the top. First off, the flashbacks, dude. There were woof.
A lot of tearjerkers.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing is like, do you think that those flashbacks are from the movie, or do you think that they're just included from the other movies and we won't actually see those flashbacks actually in the movie?
I think the ones that are in black and white, we probably won't see, because they're literally direct clips from the other movies. So I guess they could show them if they wanted, but the one like with Hawkeye with his daughter, that's definitely in the movie, and I think that's where his family is going to get dusted, and he's going to be like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah.
That might even be the opening of the movie, the opening scene of the movie, and I will cry.
We all will.
There's so much. I've watched the trailer probably 10 times. I feel like we could have just done a whole main topic on this trailer alone. But yeah, dude. So do you think, from what I've heard, Hawkeye's daughter is supposed to be like another element of what people are saying is the Young Avengers?
Yeah.
And that might be another part of the next phase or something going on like that?
Yeah, so in the comic books, there's a character. It's not his daughter, but there's a female young character that Hawkeye trains, and they're saying for the sake of the movies to make it easier, they may make that character his daughter. So that is one portion of it. After we talk about the trailer, I definitely want to talk about the lineup of the new Avengers, because it's something me and Alex have been talking about this week. But after that, in the trailer, most interesting thing to me, no Thanos anywhere in the trailer. No villain anywhere in the trailer. We assume it's Thanos, but no, really it seems like their antagonist is fixing the last movie, and it doesn't seem like there's really a major influence here from Thanos, but like we've said before, there's probably 2 or 3 clips from this trailer that are from later on in the movie, but most of it still looks like it's from the very first, half hour. So we really have no clue what's going to happen in this movie.
Right. I think I think that this trailer is sparking a lot of speculation. I've heard a lot of people saying that Thanos might be the beginning focus, like first 30 to 45 minutes, but then somebody else could be introduced that could be a bigger issue, and people are saying the Living Tribunal is supposed to be an issue or something like that. I guess he's like the main keeper of balance in the Marvel universe or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about the comic book villains, but I think it's possible. I think it would be a bit odd because they built up Thanos for so long, like literally since the first Avengers movie, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, here's another bad guy that's badder than Thanos. It'd be like out of nowhere. But I do think, honestly, I think Thanos is going to be in it, but I think the movie's going to be more so focused on, them stopping or reversing what Thanos already did instead of fighting Thanos directly, if that makes sense.
And
I don't know.
Everything back to normal, sort of.
Yeah, at the end when you see him on those suits, those are quantum realm suits, and Ant-Man and the Wasp, Hank Pym wears that suit to go into the quantum realm. So that's, they're all going to obviously be doing that in this movie too, I assume time travel. So that's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, it looked wild, my dude. I was so pumped because you guys have seen the new studio in my new case, but conveniently enough, the new Avengers suits match my case. So basically, I'm an Avenger at this point. But there was another thing that a lot of people were talking about is that they're referencing back to the Infinity War trailer where like you saw the Hulk in Wakanda. Mm-hmm. But then in the actual movie, the Hulk was never in Wakanda. He was actually in the big I think that's the Hulkbuster suit or whatever.
Suit? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So people are saying that there could be parts of this trailer that are just fucking bait. Like the part where you see Tony Stark and Nebula in the suits. There's like that could not actually happen, and you're like, "Oh God, please no!"
That's something Disney would do.
It would break my fucking heart. I would be in the movie if Tony Stark dies in space, I would be in the movie like, "Fuck this! Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that brings us to kind of the discussion we brought up earlier. Regardless of if they die or if they're just done with the franchise, taking out Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk as the main
One more
four.
point before we move on.
Oh,
The
go ahead.
last scene after like they show the title sequence and then it's
Uh-huh.
Thor and Captain Marvel.
hmm
So fucking good, dude. I was like, oh my god, I love both of them so much.
It's the couple we deserve.
Right. It's
Yeah.
the yeah, I like looked up and I was like, hell fucking yes. They're going to kill everything. Okay, but now moving on, now that we can talk about we're gonna call her Carol until she officially takes on the mantle. So
So if moving forward, after this movie, we assume we have Carol, Spider-Man, assuming he comes back to life, and Black Panther, assuming he comes back to life, is like the three people we know are like main Avengers. As long as the Sony and Marvel deal continues with Spider-Man, which I'm sure it will. Then, as like other characters that may still be alive, you obviously have the Guardians, and then you have Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Vision might come back to life, but I doubt it. So, I was thinking about earlier this week, what character would you guys like to see as that fourth main Avenger with Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, and Black Panther? Someone we've already seen or a new character?
All right, I'm gonna go first since Zach's made it sound like he's gonna think. Give me Iron Girl or give me Death, bro. Bro, for real? Iron Girl though?
Yeah, there's
Who would it
Catherine
be,
Langford. Well, Catherine Langford is in the movie, the girl from 13 Reasons Why, and it's been speculated that she is the daughter of Tony Stark, but that's not been confirmed.
And then, yeah, I love that there's so many people that the Avengers have interacted with that could eventually end up being like another Avengers. Because there's that kid from the Iron Man movie, Iron Man 3, right?
The little kid?
Yeah, that everybody was like, oh my god, he's going to be a big deal. He's going to be a big character. And then he's gone. But I think that like them bringing him back in a sense, everybody would be like, I knew he wasn't gone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But then like also I don't think that she would be an Avenger, but I would love to see her be a young Avenger, is the girl from Captain Marvel. That's her friend's daughter.
Oh,
They
yeah.
call it Lieutenant Trouble or something like that.
Because that was in 95, so she would be an adult.
Yeah, she would be older.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot that. So, does that mean that Captain Marvel doesn't age? I mean, Carol doesn't age?
I don't.
I
I mean,
guess
I think
not.
she ages similar to how like Thor would age, like very slowly.
Yeah, because I was
Like
going to
they-
say, because she
yeah.
doesn't look any older than, especially in the scene where, like, at the end of Captain Marvel, where they're like, yo, Captain Marvel's thing's not doing the thing anymore. She looked
Yeah.
exactly like she did in the movie I had just seen.
Yeah. Zach, did you think of anything?
I really want to see, because I'm one of the few that think Captain America is not going to make it out of this movie, but I want to see someone take that role afterwards, whether it's Bucky or Falcon. I remember I was talking about that one time. Just see someone take that role and go with it.
Mhm.
Nah, dude, the death of Captain America. Except if it's Bucky, dude. If it's Bucky, I think that I'd
That's what I've
actually
been
like
hearing a
Captain
lot.
America because
Buck-
Bucky is an edgy ass motherfucker. I'm into
Exactly.
that.
And he would not only have the shield, but he would have that arm made out of the same shield material, so he's like 2.0.
It's true.
Yeah, I'd be totally cool with Falcon or Bucky taking over the role, but it's like Bucky's been around since the first Captain America, and Falcon's been around since Winter Soldier, so they're both in there for a while. Who knows if they would want to continue? But for me, with the Disney Fox merger closing, I don't think this is something we're going to get teased in Endgame or anything, but I would love to see a young Wolverine as part of the main Avengers.
That would
be awesome.
nuts. Fuck. I have a question. So, do you think that War Machine is gonna make it out of Endgame?
Uh,
I don't
I
think.
think War
I
Machine
personally
is a-
don't think so.
If there was one person I was going to guess would be a Skrull, it'd be War Machine.
You think so? I would say, as much as it would break my fucking heart, if Pepper Potts is a Skrull, I'm done with the Marvel series, bro. How am I
Just
supposed
quit.
to move on if I love the alien?
But then wait, if Tony and her have a baby, is it half Skrull?
Holy shit.
Oh man.
These are the questions we need answered. I'm writing a fanfic.
We'll write our own ending.
Oh man, I know, dude. I'm so excited. What is it, like a month now from
April
when this will come out?
26th?
Yeah, about 6 weeks. About 6 weeks, and
5
tickets are
weeks.
still not on sale.
Yeah, I thought that there was a lot of talk. It was supposed to go on sale last Friday.
Yeah, there's rumors that April 2nd. I don't know why that date is significant, but there are rumors that April 2nd is the date it will go on sale, and we might get some type of like really quick, like 30, 60 second, little teaser for the ticket announcement. But I have to just keep on top of it because I got to buy those tickets. Last year with Infinity War, it was hard to get tickets the day that they were announced without the theater selling out. So I'm sure this year's going to be even harder. I got to be on top of it and getting those on.
You got to be on top of being on top of telling me to buy those tickets, my dude.
Yeah.
I want to go see it. I want to go see it with the fucking crazy people that are going to be fucking nuts, and then see it again with
So,
the
Brad.
less crazy people.
See it, rent it, stream it. See it, rent it, stream it. See it, rent it, stream it. See it, rent it, stream it.
I don't think any of us saw any movies in the theaters this week. I'm going to be seeing Us when it comes out next week, so that'll be
Oh, that
fun.
comes out next week. That's the same guy who made Get Out, right?
Yeah, Jordan Peele. Yeah, making Us, and it's getting really, positive buzz. It premiered at a festival a couple weeks ago. I know somebody who saw it, and they really, really loved it. So it's getting a lot of good buzz. I'll be seeing that next week. But I did watch a movie called Free Solo. So this is a documentary. I rented it off Amazon, and it won the Oscar last year for Best Documentary Feature. It basically follows a guy who does what's called free soloing, which is basically rock climbing without any equipment. So no ropes or no, equipment. You're basically just climbing up the side of a mountain.
Nope, not happening. If
Never.
anybody ever asked me to do that, I'd be like, I can't be your friend anymore. You want to kill me.
When
Maybe
the
if it's 10 foot
documentary,
tall.
yeah, when the documentary starts, which was I think they started filming a couple years ago, he had already made a name for himself. Like he had climbed a mountain that was like 1,000 feet, climbed a mountain that was like 1,800 feet, and this documentary follows him trying to climb a mountain that's 3,200 feet, and I was having a panic attack basically for the whole hour and a half of the movie. Like it follows all of his struggles, some injuries he has, training for it. He gets a girlfriend during the course of the documentary, and that kind of, messes with him because it's like, okay, now I have someone that cares about me if I die. And one part in the documentary that really got me was like they took you through every famous like free soloer from like the last 30 years. And they've all died. And not only have they all died, they've all died free soloing. So it's like they say in the movie to this guy, Alex, they're like, you're really the last one left. Like if someone's going to die next, it's going to be you because there's not really many people left. And it gets really wild. And then when he does finally, start, to attempt to climb this 3,200-foot mountain, you're watching it and it's like, my knuckles were white knuckled the whole time watching it because it's like not only is he climbing this, right, but then you have a crew filming him. So you have like drone cameras, people on ropes by him, and it's like if he makes one mistake and falls to his death, they're all there watching, and there's nothing they can do. It's the craziest shit I've seen in a while. Totally understand why it won the Oscar for Best Documentary this year, so I highly recommend that one.
So there was a theatrical wide release for that, or was it just for, okay? Because I was gonna say, Amazon is marketing it on basically all the smart TV like ads are for that, and I was like, oh, okay.
And I wouldn't say it was wide. Like it's not like it was in every theater nationwide, but it definitely had a release because I remember it playing at Crocker last year. I just didn't catch it because I didn't know what it was, but it definitely was in theaters last year. But yeah, highly recommended. Crazy.
It is also on Hulu for free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I should have fucking watched it on Hulu.
Okay, maybe I saw the ads on Hulu and not on
Paid
Amazon.
fucking
Might be a
paid
little
fucking $3. Oh well, whatever.
You supported the team. That's what matters.
Yeah, I supported him. Hopefully. So, what have you guys been doing? Watching?
So last week I started watching, and by started I mean I watched the whole thing of the Patriot Act with Hassan Minaj. It's pretty fucking good. It's like one of those, I don't know if you guys have ever watched like Last Week Tonight, or I would say it's a little bit different from like The Daily Show, but kind of in that same like political comedy sphere. So I don't know what he's actually from before this. I just saw it on Netflix and was like, oh, I'll probably watch that. But all of the episodes are 20 minutes, and it's like, it's released weekly, which I didn't know that there was a lot of Netflix originals that do actually weekly releases, but it's kind of more of a news show, so it makes more sense. I definitely would have you check it out if you are into like Last Week Tonight with John Oliver or stuff like that, because he's so funny. He's talking about how he's like one of the first Muslim guys to get a show like that. And he's like, it's hilarious that I'm like the first Muslim to ever get a show like this. And I'm also on the same platform as Netflix where they have shows that are like inherently like Islamophobic. And I was like, damn, you're really going to roast your own platform like that. Like,
He was on the Daily Show for a couple years, wasn't he?
yeah, I was going to say he probably made his start on the Daily Show or like Stephen Colbert or something like that along those lines. Because that's what John Oliver did.
Yeah, is it like John Oliver where he like each episode he tackles like one main story or like one main topic?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and some of his topics are like, he had an episode about like Supreme, like the clothing brand Supreme. He had an episode about, I should have wrote down more of the episodes. The Supreme one was really good. He had an episode about Saudi Arabia. So like he tackles a bunch of different things, some way more political than others. But I think it's really good. I mean, for a 20-minute session to just check it out, I think it's easily worth it if you already have Netflix. And then I also checked out on the stream it category. I checked out the new Netflix original movie, Triple Frontier. What is it?
Frontier?
Triple Frontier. That movie was really fucking good. So the movie is about basically it's one of those movies where there's a task force of people who are going up against drug cartels or whatever. So kind of set in that realm. And the first, like, I would say first 30 to 45 minutes, it's basically cookie cutter that. But after that 45 minutes, you are like, oh shit, this is completely different than that. And it is so fucking good, guys. I would highly recommend if you're into like action movies or stuff like that where they kind of like stick it to big crime stuff like that. I think you should definitely check it out. It was really good. I don't want to spoil any of it, but whew.
Yeah, fortunately, I haven't been able to actually check this one out yet, but it's something that just came to Netflix called Love, Death, and Robots that's come out. It's an anthology which covers a bunch of like dark, twisted, animated shorts. I think there's about 9 to 10 episodes. I know we actually brought it up a while back when it was pretty much had like its release trailer, but it looks really good. Like I said, unfortunately, I haven't been able to look at it yet, but it's definitely on my list to watch for next week.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I saw the ad for that too, and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to, and then I might check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I just started watching something else too, and I can't remember what it was. Fuck. Well.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool thing
I
about
talked
these
about it
ones, it
before.
looks like.
I watched The Orville on Hulu, which is pretty.
Yeah.
I watched the first season when I was in Hawaii, and I thought it was pretty okay. And I think it's another one of those where it's more character focused, kind of like how I felt in Umbrella Academy. I'm more interested in the characters than I am interested in whatever they're doing. But I think that if you're into like sci-fi in the aspect of like Star Trek. It's like a Star Trek if Star Trek was a comedy instead of like a action drama. So if you're into that kind of feel, you should check that out too on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then you guys ready for our main topic today?
Let's dive in.
All right, go ahead, Zach.
So in honor of St. Patrick's Day this weekend, we're going to go ahead and cover the exciting history of leprechauns. How we all might know in modern day, the little bearded men wearing green coats, red hair, usually doing mischief, where if you catch them, you can get the gold at the end of the rainbow, Usually the most recognizable leprechauns right now being the Lucky Charms leprechaun on the box of the Lucky Charms General Mills cereal. And then the other side of the spectrum that you can talk about this, Josh, is Lubden from the Leprechaun horror comedy film series. Because I know you watched that in preparation for it.
Yeah, so in preparation for this, the Leprechaun franchise, I had never seen any of the movies, but I always knew what they were. And I decided to watch Leprechaun 3 for two reasons. One, online, I read a lot of rankings and reviews, and that one seemed like one of the best ones from that community. They thought it was one of the best entries. And also, he goes to Vegas in Leprechaun 3, and I'll be going to Vegas this June, so I thought it'd be fun to watch. And it is so fucking ridiculous. Like, it's borderline horror. It's like definitely a horror comedy. It definitely leans into the comedy a lot, but basically the plot of what I assume every movie is someone finds his gold, steals it, and now he's going to go kill everybody until he gets his gold back. The other twist, at least in this installment that I watched, is that each coin gets you a wish. And the leprechaun finds a way to, turn the wish against you. So, like, one woman wishes to be more beautiful, and she becomes more beautiful, and then the leprechaun, like, makes her breasts and her butt, like, just expand until she explodes. So it's just, like, a lot of the most ridiculous shit. There's one scene where a casino owner is, like, watching porn on his television, and the leprechaun makes the woman in the porn, like, come through the TV and come to life, and they start, like, having sex, but then he turns the woman into a robot, and the robot electrocutes and kills the casino owner.
Jeez.
It's so ridiculous. Warwick Davis plays the leprechaun. He's been in, if you look him up, he's been in a few other things. He is very funny, and the leprechaun speaks in riddles the entire movie, so like everything rhymes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then there's a lot going on in this movie. The other main storyline is our main character who's about to go to college but drives through Vegas. Makes a wish. He finds one of the coins and makes a wish that he's like, making a bunch of money at the casino. The leprechaun, when he comes to get his coin back, bites the kid, and it's kind of like a werewolf effect. The kid throughout the movie is turning into a leprechaun.
Oh, what?
So there's a whole bunch of crazy shit going on with this movie. Like I said online, it seems like this is one of the best ones. So I think if you are gonna watch a leprechaun movie, watch this one. But be ready. It's kind of like a so bad it's good movie. It's very campy, very ridiculous. But I can't say I didn't have a good time watching it. I laughed quite a bit.
I think it's really interesting that you decided to watch Leprechaun instead of watching Luck of the Irish and talk about the leprechaun from Luck of the Irish. Because didn't you say that's one of
Luck of the Irish needs its own episode, I think. Maybe next year. Maybe next St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Fun fact about the Leprechaun series, that's how Jennifer Aniston got her start. The first ever Leprechaun movie.
Yeah, she is in the first Leprechaun, yeah.
I think you're taking a lot of credit away from her start being friends.
Yeah.
First film, I guess.
Okay. I'll take that. But
actually, I don't even know the timeline with it.
If you're saying that Jennifer Aniston got her big break from Leprechaun, you are lying to our listeners.
I don't know the dates with it. For all I know, it could be true.
Yeah, because the person that was going to cast the Friends series was like, yeah, I need that woman from Leprechaun.
Happens all the time. But back to the overall thing. Actually, I'm happy you brought up how in the Leprechaun 3, if you got his coins, you could make a wish. Because that was actually how the folklore of the Leprechaun first started. In a medieval tale called The Adventures of Fergus, son of Letty, after he fell asleep on a beach, he wakes up to find three leprechauns dragging him into the sea by his feet. He captures them, and the leprechauns then give him 3 wishes instead of actually giving him his gold. But just like the movie, the wishes soon start to like portray different things, like mischievous things. So like in the movie where she wanted to be beautiful, it comes back to bite her. That's exactly what the leprechauns do essentially with all of their wishes as well, from what I get. Another weird thing that I found on the folklore, there are no female leprechauns. It is strictly male leprechauns.
Okay.
Which is pretty fun. Actually, another real cool thing is the appearance of the leprechaun has not always been the green coat jacket that we know. It actually was originated that they wore red instead of green. And then depending on different regions in Europe, their coat colors would change and little tiny parts of it would change as well.
So you're telling me that there were red leprechauns before there were green
red-coated leprechauns, yes.
Yes.
I
So
think green's better.
you're telling me there were many Santa Clauses running around.
Yes. Let's go through some of these. So
wait. Before we go through some of these, do you think Santa is a very old leprechaun?
If he's a fairy, he could be.
He could be.
Because somehow leprechauns fall into the spectrum of the broader term of fairy. I guess there's different segments of the fairy, with leprechauns being one of them. So you could throw Santa Claus into that mix.
Santa Claus is a leprechaun. You heard it here first, folks, on Hooligan Radio. We are going to
Making a lot of
dive
bold
the relation between Santa and leprechauns. I would assume that all of the elves are also leprechauns, beating to be big Santa Claus. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, the northern leprechaun often wears a military red coat with white breeches, with a broad brim, high pointed hat, and it's sometimes seen upside down most of the time walking. Like he never is 2 feet on the ground. Then we have we're going to lose our one Irish listener in Ireland because I'm just going to butcher all of these names. The Lucan of Tepri wore an antique slash jacket of red with peaks, similar to like the military style of the northern leprechaun, but these were often carrying either a sword around or a magic wand. And
this man says he's Irish. He can't even pronounce Irish.
Haven't been there yet. You're not wrong.
We need to call in your Irish ancestors. What's your dad doing? Is he the Irish one or is your mom the Irish one?
They're already at the casino.
All right, we're calling them in. Your dad's got Skype on his phone, right?
And then the last ones pretty much wear the same red coat, but then this is where the green starts to come in. Underneath the red coat, they have a green vest under it. And supposedly they take off the red coats quite often, especially where they're being chased, which is what supposedly took the tradition of them wearing green, because they're always running from intruders trying to catch them.
Oh, man. You're telling me. Keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
so don't feel bad with them.
Oof. Okay.
All right. So let's go into the next thing that Josh has talked about, with leprechauns being straight up tricksters and just mischievous people. There's one story that actually I really like that I found, where a man found a leprechaun, caught him, and essentially he convinced him to take him to his pot of gold. Some leprechauns will actually hide all of their wealth, which is where the popular opinion comes of them having their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So he convinced the leprechaun to go take him to his chest or treasure of gold and other such things. And he took him to a tree and was like, this is where it's at. Essentially, then he was like, all right, they mark it with a red X and then they leave. When he comes back, he finds out every single tree in the forest is marked with that red X afterwards. And he was not able to find it after then.
Damn, that guy just duped him. He was like, oh, okay, I got you. Damn, dude.
And for
what would you do with a pot of gold, bro?
A pot of gold? That's a good question. If it gave me wishes, that's one thing. But if it was just a regular pot of gold,
is it the pot of gold like the Velveeta cheese gold?
Yeah, dog. That's what I was thinking. Or what if you find a pot of gold and like it's like a real pot, right? And you're like, oh, what the hell? And then you open it up, you go in there, and the coins are just those chocolates, and you're like, these motherfuckers.
That
I
part
wouldn't-
is,
I
I would
wouldn't-
probably be okay with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that mad.
Yeah, okay. If you
I
guys
still
are telling
look for
me
the
you actually like
chocolate.
the coin chocolate, y'all
Very
motherfuckers.
much so.
I hate Zach. I hate Zach.
Oh, that's great.
The only other thing, I guess this was under the category of tricksters from my research that I found, but for whatever reason, they seem to love to abduct people and kidnap people. I guess that's under the category of tricksters, but it seems a little bit more dark.
I was gonna say, aren't there things called tricksters? Like, so there are leprechauns and then there are tricksters. Are you saying that leprechauns are a type of trickster? Because
Yes, essentially. Well, I
from
don't
what
know.
I understand, and this is just coming from League of Legends lore, Fizz, the character Fizz, is considered a trickster,
Mhm.
and he like dupes people and shit like that. So that's what I'm trying to.
So for at least, I don't believe they're like from the family of tricksters. It seems like leprechauns are their own sort of thing on the fairy spectrum, but they just do tricky acts and mischievous acts.
Okay.
And then one thing that I will end on this that I want to cover with is the story of the Callington 4 leprechauns, which it's gained so much popularity over in Europe that the Callington leprechauns are now, in fact, a protected species under the European Union.
That's amazing.
So the story began all in 1989 when a man named P.J. O'Hare, O'Hare was tending to his garden when he heard a scream coming from a nearby mountain range, in the Mourne mountain range. He rushed up to the mountain to find something that astonished him: scorched earth, charred bones, and trees just burnt to the ground. But the only thing he found there was a green suit, a hat, and several other items. These items included 4 gold coins, like I said, the hat and the green coat, as well as skeletal remains that are small enough to be considered a leprechaun.
So do you think that there were leprechaun poachers in the good old days?
As you'll find in this story, yes, and it's a tradition still to this day.
Oh,
It's a
man.
tradition to this day.
Yeah.
I'm
Aren't
trying
they
to.
people?
Fair.
This is like the most dangerous game.
This is only going to get better. So essentially what he took all of those belongings he found, placed them into a glass box, and took them to his pub where they remain today. And actually in our drive where I'm talking about this from, I was able to find a picture of the chest, and there is skeletal remains in there that are from the supposed leprechaun.
Huh. Do you think if I sold leprechaun bones, I could make a lot of money?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
I'm going to start selling on eBay leprechaun bones, and I'm going to say that they're haunted, and I bet we can make a lot of money. I bet you we could furnish the whole podcast studio on making fake leprechaun bones.
But getting back to the poaching thing, this is where it ties in. So some of the people of Callington believed him while others didn't. And one of the people who didn't believe him was one of O'Hare's friends, McCulty. McCulty wanted to find out whether they were actual leprechauns in the area, so he arranged a leprechaun hunt, in which he hid 5 ceramic leprechauns around and put 1,000 Irish pounds of prize money under each one to see if anyone could find the leprechaun. McCulty's reasoning was that if people are looking for these ceramic leprechauns, they are bound to come across a real leprechaun in their search as well.
No way. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right to me. That'd be like saying if my dog ran away, I'm going to put some ceramic dogs outside. So if people are looking for the ceramic dogs with money under them, they'll find my dog.
Yes. That's
No, they're just going to find the non-moving dogs.
Unfortunately, there was no sightings. But the hunt is now done every single year in March, beginning on Sundays, where people will go out, hunt for leprechauns, and find these ceramic leprechauns, usually with some sort of prize underneath, whether it's money or just like other little treats.
Little treats. I like the way that you.
Well, they're leprechauns. They got to be little.
Right, but like, what is a leprechaun treat?
Well, I meant little treats, not specifically a leprechaun treat. But I would assume berries.
Okay. What kind of treat? Okay. So we said that they're tricksters, and then you're saying that there's treats. That just sounds like you're going to get poisoned. You're going to die. You're going to die by chasing leprechauns. Listen, if you're one of our listeners and you are diagnosed with chasing leprechauns, you need to call our hotline, 1-800 Don't Chase Leprechauns. It's a lot of numbers.
Don't chase leprechauns.
a lot more
Your
numbers
phone may
than-
tell you that the number can't be dialed at this time. Just keep trying.
We're going to get a
Promise
lot of calls.
Yeah. But ironically, after O'Hare died, McCulty started coming across leprechauns on his own. One day when he was walking his dog, he actually came across 3 leprechauns sitting on a rock. They did not notice McCulty at first, or the dog, but McCulty and the dog were essentially paralyzed and could not move for several minutes until the leprechauns disappeared under the rock, whether they were like under some sort of spell or they were just complete shock. Later that day, when McCulty returned home, he was interrogated by his wife on why he'd been gone so long. He insisted he was only gone for about an hour and a half or so, but his wife then informed him he was actually gone for 7 hours, and he was pretty much gone from like noon till like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening.
What?
Mm-hmm. So
Wait.
after that, McCulty just started to fully believe in leprechauns after that.
That's
That's
fair.
crazy. He was
And then
paralyzed?
another,
Him
yeah,
and the dog
supposedly to
were
him only for a couple minutes, was essentially turned into 7 hours.
He was standing still for 7 hours.
Yes.
I would go directly to the hospital.
For
I'd be
more,
like, somebody
check my
drugged
head.
me. I'm gonna die.
yeah.
That
I
reminds
slept
me.
7 hours.
Yeah, it reminds me in Leprechaun 3, the boy goes to the hospital after he gets bitten, and they tie him down. And they're about to cut him open or some shit, and then he breaks out and kills all the doctors. Very gruesome scene.
Jeez. Oh, because the boy's turning into a leprechaun?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
But there were several
Hell
other encounters McCulty experienced. One other encounter he had was with a single leprechaun named Kirk, who claimed to be Kirk, who claimed to be an
I'm only calling Zach Kurg on his birthday. Hey, Kurg, come here, do Irish car bomb.
glad.
Okay, I'm on my way.
God, I gotta stop going by Kirk.
Zach's drunk alter ego's name is Kurg.
We need to make this happen.
I'm glad we finally found it out, and we found it out on the podcast. It's super drunk. We're only calling him Kurg from now on. You heard it here. Everybody who's listening, if you ever see drunk Zach again, his new name is Kurg.
And I will gladly answer. But Kurg claimed to be an elder of 236 leprechauns who lived in a nearby mountain range. And Kurg also told McCulty that he and the other leprechauns were the last of their kind due to poaching and being hunted. So maybe the ceramic things worked.
Yeah, maybe.
When they asked, yeah, and then also down the years where they started asking, like, where do they go when they die, essentially, pretty much they just evaporate into thin air. And also, it seems like it goes along with, and I can't remember which Santa Claus movie this is, but they also thrive off of the belief of people believing that they're real. So they'll become stronger and like more prevalent when people believe that leprechauns are real.
Oh, okay.
That's
I'm
a pretty common thing. I feel like Freddy Krueger is the same way. Santa.
Krug.
So after this experience, McCulty started a campaign for that mountain to pretty much become a protected place for leprechauns and proposed it to the European Union. His wish was finally granted in 2009 when he made that mountain range preserved under the EU Habitats Directive. Now it's a protected place for leprechauns of all sizes, whether they're wearing red coats, green coats, whatever, and they are not allowed to be hunted there.
I think if I saw a leprechaun in a purple coat, that would be the only one I would ever want to approach. I'd be like,
Why purple?
you're looking regal, my dude. What's up? But a red coat one, bro, I'd be like, he's going to kill me. That guy's going to kill me. A green one, I'd be like, oh, that guy's probably lucky. But a purple one, I'd be like, that guy's my boy for sure.
Yeah. But unfortunately, there's a lot of authenticity issues with leprechauns, which we probably all know by now. The main
I was gonna say, all of the accounts of leprechauns are probably pretty authentic. Got scientific research, pictures and stuff, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, with the calling for leprechauns, none of that has been done. So none of the items that was actually brought back to the pub have been scientifically studied, or been, especially the bones, which would probably be the focal point for the scientific study, to get tested to see if they're already of some sort of creature that already exists, if they're just a correlation of bones from many animals, things of that nature. And because of this, the mystery of the leprechaun will just be in folklore.
I don't know, man. We might see one at your birthday celebration
We'll see
downtown
many
Cleveland.
tomorrow. We'll see many. Hopefully in a purple coat, so you can go introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah, dude. Absolutely. I will talk to anybody in a purple coat that's trying to be a leprechaun tomorrow. Oh, man. So, Zach, do you think we'll be able to find a leprechaun in Ohio, or do you think we got to go to Europe to find a leprechaun?
To Ireland.
Yeah, it seems like we have to go to Europe and Ireland if we truly want to go hunting.
Sounds like we're going hunting, boys.
But just not in that mountain range.
Yeah, dude. So you think leprechauns are real, Zach?
No.
Damn. One of these days, Zach will think that the thing is real that isn't aliens.
Do you think they were ever existed?
I think I could ramble on what I actually think is going on, where it could. All right, let's take this for example. What if leprechauns are a species of alien, or leprechauns are they can go in between dimensions and they're just like a species from another dimension?
I hope that the first meme ever made about us is, what if they are aliens? Because I think that for each cryptid we've talked about, we're like, okay, like, what if Nessie is actually an alien?
That one's no. But a lot, I mean, so this goes with urban legends or for anything. A lot of the time, there is some basis of fact around urban legends, folklores. Like, there's something that people are seeing that is real. Whether that's an actual leprechaun, how we know it is today, or it's something that's being misidentified as the leprechaun like we know it is.
Okay. That's fair.
Aliens.
Probably aliens. If I had to guess, it's aliens.
I just don't get, like, if leprechauns don't exist, like, how do you explain rainbows?
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying.
And what's at the end of it?
You can't have a rainbow without a leprechaun's pot of gold.
Well, obviously, it seems like the M&M's chocolate bars are at the end of the rainbows because we can never get to it.
And that's hooligan radio.
Yeah, so on that note, we'd like to thank...
I'd like to thank American Spirits for their theme, Like It Forts. We'd like to thank Spreaker for the Get Rich and Stream It theme.
Or has M&M chocolate bars.
Yeah.
I'm going to thank you in advance because I know we aren't going to find it by Wednesday. Zach's this weekend is to find one, but I know by this time tomorrow, Zach won't even know what the word mission means. So... on Wednesday, tweet at us where you have found the M&M chocolate bars so we can do a full candy bar review next episode of Hooligan Radio.
All right, Zach, where can we find you?
You can find me at ZachC_I know on Twitter and Instagram. Still in process.
In process. What percentage?
8.
Okay, you were at 8 last week, so not a lot of progress this week.
Did I actually say 8 last week?
I don't know.
I was hoping to go up.
All right, I'm just going to take your spotlight now. You can find me on Twitter at PHP_Islaya. Find me on Twitch TV /Islaya. Probably get a stream in this week if I don't completely die this weekend. So this will come out on Wednesday. That's kind of we could probably pull it off. Zach and I will play Hunt. I'm going to make a promise here so that he has to stick to it.
Wow, what if they introduced Leprechauns into Hunt?
That would be crazy, but I want to see if the game has made any progress since the last time we played. What about you, Josh? Where can we find you on the internet?
At _Joshua Singh _ on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Singh on YouTube. Maybe uploading my next Pokemon video soon, as well as Creed 2. And then, like I said, just excited to see Us so we can talk about it because that's one of my most anticipated movies of the year coming up. But this has been yet another fun episode. Anything else you guys want to say?
I want to issue a formal good luck salute to one of my favorite guests we've ever had on the podcast, Alex. He has currently moved away from where we currently record. It's like 8 hours away, correct? Or is he officially moved yet? I think he
officially moved the last time I saw.
But I wanted to say I didn't get to see you before you left if you've already gone. But good luck out there. You're gonna kill it, and look out for him because he's going to be trying to do more acting, and
he's going to do big things, and we all know he is going to get there.
We're gonna have the first interview with Alex. We're gonna try to get his rights.
Yeah, we want to claim you for the first one.
Yeah,
because you started here.
And then you can go to whatever else, 2020, The Daily Show. I don't know. Other than that, I think did we thank Surgerberger for the theme? If not, we'll thank him again. Whatever.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks are free around here. And thank you to the listener for tuning in for another episode of Hooligan Radio. We will catch you next week where we talk about
something.
We talk about because I don't think we know yet.
I'll let you know once we do.
Games, movies, sex with ghosts?
Probably sex with ghosts.
All of the above.
All right. Bye, everybody.
I'm not content